Hello, this is Angela with Parker's Permaculture. It is a beautiful August evening here in Portland, Oregon in Zone 9A. Now, the air quality is about to take a turn for the worse. I've been wondering all morning. I went on a long walk this morning and it just felt like hazy and the air felt really heavy, and the air quality monitor said that the quality was good, 34. And, not to worry, but it just felt like, oh, is the air quality is it really 34? So I kept checking. And I noticed that it was just very hazy. It's hard for me to see the mountain. The sun now at the sunset is kind of filtering and giving that very orangey glow of bad air quality. So the air quality has now become moderate, and you can see that the smoke from the forest fires is moving in. And I do feel like in the last few years, that's just the reality for those of us in the Pacific Northwest, that August and into September is forest fire season, it's smoke season, it's fire season. And I'm very much insulated from it here in the city. We have the air quality impacts, but a number of my friends who live rurally in Oregon have had to routinely evacuate themselves and their livestock the last few years because of threats from fires themselves. So it's a real serious concern. It is a safety concern. It's a quality of life concern. It's a risk to property, livestock concern, and an interruption in people's ability to get their work done, right? So for me, I've been thinking more and more, like, what does that mean for August and September in the garden? If I have to be more conscious and adapt my permaculture design to understand that air quality is something I have to consider when I am thinking about how much time I can safely spend in the garden, or what that time in the garden looks like. Because let's be real, over the last few years, we've had plenty of air quality days that are, 250, 300, 400, 545, right? Unsafe air quality. And I love my garden. I want to make sure my garden's needs are met, that I'm able to harvest the food out of my garden, but I'm not really willing to spend hours outside in poor air quality at a risk to my health. So we'll see what the weather looks like. I think it's going to be 97 tomorrow, and the air quality is supposed to like that. So not thrilled about that. But this evening I'm trying to get a little garden work done. So I want to show you a few things that are happening around the garden here in the backyard. If you have not seen my recent front yard video, I showed a small portion of the front yard, not everything. But thank you for everybody who's watched so far. That video is getting really good traction, so thank you. Let me show you a few things around here. And it's a little hazy out, so bear with me here. And also the sun is setting through the haze. So my rain garden is looking really good despite being quite dry. I do need to do some weeding. You can see this is a weed. It's hard, something to keep in mind is when the ground is really dry, it's hard to weed. If my weeds have not gone to seed, I tend to throw them back on the bed or throw them in the path. Believe it or not, this is the path. It's just a little overgrown right now. I'm gonna have a volunteer potato. See, there's a stepping stone, Nigella seeds, but the rain garden itself is looking pretty swag. So this is a sanguisorba. I really love sanguisorbas. I think they're really beautiful. My straight species echinacea is looking really good. I thought I removed all of this crocosmia, but one or two bulbs got missed. I didn't like the way it took over this bed, but I really love the way that these bright kind of jewel tones contrast with, this is a bird bath I got from my parents' garden. I really like the blue and the kind of jewel tones. I'm usually much more of a muted tone person, but I'm enjoying this part of the garden right now. It's too late in the evening, but these plants along the edge here are always covered with bees. Well, there's a few bees out. A few little native bees out, but it's a little late. Hello, friend. So it's inevitable that this time of year things look dry, partially because I am pulling up and chopping up things and putting them back on the bed. So you're seeing layers of decomposing brown material that I'm using as mulch. These are some of my tree collards that I put in this year, a couple of them. And then also just because some things are coming to the end of their life. Some things are looking great, right? Motherwort here, looking fantastic. Great August and September bee food. Highly recommend if you are willing to deal with the fact that it will self-sow vigorously. I was a little late getting my tomatoes in this year, so we're just starting to get cherry tomatoes. I had some for dinner last night and the night before. Don't have any beefsteaks yet. My beefsteaks are all still kind of small. More down in here. More, these are yellow cherries. So this mulberry I'm gonna need to take back drastically. It's really too big for this space. And I'm gonna have to take some large limbs down this year. Thinking about whether I'm gonna hire somebody or I'm gonna attempt that myself. About to get another wave of mulberries off of this tree because it is an ever-bearing mulberry. This time of year you want to be aware in the evenings that you will often find sleeping bumblebees, so you don't want to squish them accidentally. So things are looking a little chaotic in a way that I enjoy this time of year. Everything in the garden is really producing well. I just want to be aware of how many weeks we have left and how that's going to look. So everything in the garden this time of year is really producing well. I just want to be aware of how many weeks I have left and what the air quality is going to be like, what the weather is going to be like, what my own schedule is going to be like in terms of harvesting and care. And I do some radical acceptance of like things start to go over and the garden starts to look like it is waning this time of year. I have a lot of videos on what do we do with the garden when it doesn't look super beautiful, especially according to kind of formal Western gardening conventions, and how do we learn to embrace the whole life cycle of the garden, not just the garden at its peak, not just the garden early in the year when it's like really exciting and there's all these little green baby plants in the yard, and not just at the peak when things are incredibly green and everything's filled in, but once we start to go over, when things are looking brown, when some things have powdery mildew, when some things are coming to the end of their life, when there might be some bug chews on things like my tree collards, when some plants are past their prime and some are still yet producing, what does the end of summer look like in a permaculture garden? And being able to find the beauty in that and being able to like learn lessons from that, learn what a garden should look like when there are plants at every stage of production. Because very soon I'm gonna be putting in babies for fall and overwintered crops. So I'll have babies, plants at peak production, and plants on the way out, and dead plants used as mulch all over the garden. I'll have every phase of life in the garden here in the next few weeks. Well, shoot, I lost the footage where I'm explaining what I'm doing next, but I want to take you back in the back of the orchard to show you some things doing well. Chickens. A gate made from pallets and scrounged wood. Hello, chickens. So in this part of the garden where the chickens are, we have a little problem that happened a couple days ago, and I have not gotten around to it yet. Woo! I don't know if you can see here. This is the walkway, and this is a branch of my Negron fig. So my Negron fig has split, and I have a branch now laying across the path, and I've not had time to come and prune it off, but I need to do that. I need to get the handsaw and do that today. Hello, chicken. As long as we're in here, ducking under branches. So my other fig here, my Desert King, is doing great. I have loads of figs. So he is not quite ready. They need another day or two. Oh, hello, chicken. I have painted toenails and I'm getting them. Hello, Dave. Do you like the fact that I have glitter toenails? Hey. So here's my Negron fig. Let's pick a couple of these. You know figs are ripe when they lift off easily and break off at the abscission layer easily. Compared to a Desert King fig. Okay, let me take these figs out into another part of the garden. There's nowhere really here for me to set the camera up. It's a bit of a jungle. Okay, so this is a Desert King fig, and this is Negron, also called Violette de Bordeaux. I don't speak French. These are my two favorite figs, probably because they're the first two figs that I put in and I don't have room for any more. There are many other excellent figs. I don't particularly like brown turkey. So this is a green fig. It is fig season for these guys. They produce one crop a year. And they're green, and the inside is this beautiful strawberry pink. And they taste very much like strawberries, but very, very, very sweet. Super sweet, no acid. Super, super tasty. Great, great fig. Not as beautiful when you can it. It is not as pretty of a color when canned as opposed to this fig, which produces a very lovely kind of crimson-y, purpley color jam. I'm gonna eat these figs real quick. Hang on, I'm gonna eat these. So this one is a little bit darker, more kind of salmon-y color on the inside. This has a better flavor, I think. Super sweet, super, super sweet. And I don't know, the flavor is just a little bit different, less strawberry-like, and I really like it. Okay, that's kind of all that's going on right now in the garden. Some of my more bug-eaten and older tree-collared leaves are gonna go into the chickens for a snack right now. I'm gonna feed them their dinner and then some greens for a treat. I'll go do that, and I'll be back really soon here from my Portland, Oregon permaculture garden. And please don't forget to click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to check out my Patreon, my Venmo, my PayPal, or the thanks button here on YouTube. And I'll be back real soon with more permaculture. Hopefully, if the smoke doesn't drive me inside, it will be out in the garden. If not, have lots to talk about inside as well. Okay,